नमस्कार। श्री श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग षष्ठ खंड प्रथम परिच्छेद, and our reading from the first chapter of the sixth section of first volume of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali. And on this particular Sunday, that is 22nd July 1883, some devotees have come. Mani Malik has come, and also Sri Ramakrishna's intimate disciples like Rakhal, Sri M, Adhor. They're also there listening to the nectarine words of Sri Ramakrishna. And in our previous reading, we saw the discussion of Mani Malik with Sri Ramakrishna regarding his visit to Kashi, and that talk about the Pandit who had told Mani Malik that what is the use of doing this, Lord, Lord, chanting the name of Lord, unless and until one doesn't have control over the senses. One has not put them under his grasp. Nothing can happen. Simply chanting the name of the Lord. And then Sri Ramakrishna had given his views on that. That these are the views of jnanis, the pandits. But that path is extremely difficult. That is the last stage of this path. On this path, that you can get away with chanting the name of the Lord. Doesn't happen because simply saying Brahma Satya Jagat Mitha is not going to take you any further on this path. The ego will always be the stumbling block that uh, to get that realization of Brahma Satya Jagat Mitha. It is only when ego is crushed, it is only when there is no me and you, there is no I and mine, only then one can have that state. And for that, Thakur had given that beautiful example of that stage of getting rid of me and mine, I and mine. Getting rid of egotism is like burning camphor. You burn the camphor, nothing remains. You won't even know anything has been burnt here. But that is the last stage. Ordinarily, what happens? You burn any firewood, it will always leave a telltale sign of something was there, something was burnt in the form of that ash. Ash which is left out after the firewood is burnt, which is left over, that is an indication something was there. Once you get into that Advaitic mode, when you really get to that stage of Aham Brahmosmi, Soham, when you get to that stage, then you are a camphor. You don't leave any trace of egotism behind. Now, since the talk is regarding that Pandit, the Gyani, that sadhu from Kashi, who had talked about this path of knowledge and all that. Sri Ramakrishna also started sharing his meetings with two great pandits of his time. And now Sri Ramakrishna is going to tell about his meeting Pandit Padmalochan and Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Pandit Padmalochan ও বিদ্যাসাগরের সঙ্গে দেখা. Sri Ramakrishna's meetings with Pandit Padmalochan and Vidyasagar. Now Sri Ramakrishna is narrating his experiences, his meetings with Padmalochan. Padmalochan ভারী জ্ঞানী ছিলেন, কিন্তু আমি মা মা করতুম তবু আমায় খুব মানত. Sri Ramakrishna is saying Padmalochan is such a learned man, great spiritual knowledge, but in spite of that, In spite of that, he had great respect for me, although I keep on repeating, mother, 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 my mother. In spite of that, in spite of Sri Ramakrishna's devotional attitude, in spite of his attitude as child of the mother, Pandit Padmalochan, who was a great scholar, a great spiritual teacher, he had great respect for Sri Ramakrishna. Padmalochan বর্ধমানের রাজার সভা পণ্ডিত ছিল. Padmalochan was the court pandit of the king of Bardhaman. Bardhaman is such a great person. কলকাতায় এসেছিল, এসে কামারহাটির কাছে একটি বাগানে ছিল. So he came to Calcutta. Earlier he was court pandit, the king of Vardhaman, king of Bardhaman. Then he came to Calcutta and he stayed in a garden house near Kamarhati. Same Kamarhati where Sri Ramakrishna's wonderful disciple Aghormani, Kamarhati Vamni, he used to stay. Now, he used to say, Pandit Padmalochan used to stay at Kamarhati. Kamarhati কাছে একটি বাগানে ছিল. আমার পণ্ডিত দেখবার ইচ্ছা হলো. Sri Ramakrishna said he had heard his name, Pandit Padmalochan. So Sri Ramakrishna says, I had a great desire. I felt a desire to go and meet this person, to go and meet Pandit Padmalochan. দুধেকে পাঠিয়ে দিলুম জানতে অভিমান আছে কি না. Says, I sent Hriday to him to find out whether this Pandit has any, is he just egotistic, high-headed, if he had any vanity, Abhiman ache ki na, whether he has any vanity, whether he is high-headed, he is such a great Pandit. And when Sri Ramakrishna had a desire, had a wish to go and meet him, he sent Hriday to him first to find out what kind of person he is. Is he high-headed? Is he a person with vanity, with great ego and all that? শুনলাম পণ্ডিতের অভিমান নয়. And then Sri Ramakrishna said, I came to know that this Pandit has no ego. He has got no aham. He has got no pride of his knowledge. Such a down-to-earth Pandit. আমার সঙ্গে দেখা হলো. And then Sri Ramakrishna said, I met him. Thakur was always interested in meeting people who had knowledge, who had devotion, and who were very simple, guileless, childlike, no ego. Thakur loved visiting and meeting such people. And that's how Thakur then went and met him. আমার সঙ্গে দেখা হলো. তো গানী আর পণ্ডিত, তবু আমার মুখে রামপ্রসাদের গান শুনে কান্না. Such a great Pandit, such a person with such a great spiritual knowledge. Even then, in spite of being such a great Pandit, the moment he listened to me singing Ram Prasad's songs of Mother, he had tears in his eyes, listening to my songs. Just imagine Sri Ramakrishna singing Ram Prasad's song of Mother, calling on to the Mother, and this great Pandit Padmalochan shedding tears from his eyes, listening to these songs. A Pandit, Jnani, who knew nothing but Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. That kind of a person shedding profuse tears listening to Sri Ramakrishna's song. Great is the singer, great is the child of Mother, and great also is the person who is listening to these songs sung by the child of mother. তবু আমার মুখে রামপ্রসাদের গান শুনে কান্না, কথা কয়ে এমন সুখ কোথাও পাই নাই. And he began to satisfaction I got, the kind of good feeling I had while talking to him, while talking to Pandit Padmalochan. I didn't have it with talking to any other Pandit for that matter, any other Jnani for that matter. That was one of the best meetings I ever had. Sri Ramakrishna is talking about Pandit Padmalochan in this manner. কথা কয়ে এমন সুখ কোথাও পাই নাই. আমায় বললে ভক্তের সঙ্গ করব এ কামনা ত্যাগ করো, নচেত নানা রকমের লোক তোমায় পতিত করবে. And then Pandit Padmalochan himself being a Jnani, Sri Ramakrishna says, he told me one thing. He told me that give up your desire to be with the devotees. Give up your desire to be in the company of these devotees, these bhaktas, all these different people. Nochet nana rokomer lok, all these different people, tomai putit kurbe. Look at the concern Pandit Padmalochan had for Sri Ramakrishna. He says, you don't just start enjoying company with anybody who calls himself bhakta. All this, there will be good bhaktas, there will be bhaktas with the sinful tendencies also, and then all these different types of people who start adoring you, who start admiring you, who start revering you. All these different people, they will bring your downfall. Nana rokomer log তোমায় পতিত করবে. They will bring harm to you. And in reality, actually, this is what happened. That Sri Ramakrishna's heart was so large. He accepted all the devotees, even the devotees with sinful tendencies. Without any hesitation, he took the burden of their sins and their sinful tendencies, for which later he suffered that cancer. He had such a great heart. But he did that on purpose. And what was that purpose? Salvation of his children. That was his motive. That's what he has told on the Kalpataru day to all those householder disciples who had gathered at his feet while he was suffering from cancer at Kashipur Garden House. Let everyone be spiritually illumined. And with that intention of his children getting spiritual illumination, Sri Ramakrishna, he took over all the sinful tendencies and burdens on his own head. And this is exactly what Pandit Padmalochan had cautioned him in advance, that you don't accept everybody as be in the company of all sorts of bhaktas. There will be good people, there will be bad people, and all these different kind of people, they will bring harm to you. Now Sri Ramakrishna is further continuing with his meeting with Pandit Padmalochan. বৈষ্ণব চরণের গুরু উৎসবানন্দের সঙ্গে লিখে বিচার করেছিল। আমায় আবার বলে, no, Vaishnava Charan's guru. Vaishnava Charan was Pandit. Vaishnava Charan was another Pandit. Vaishnava Charan's guru. Now, Padmalochan was such a great Pandit, that Sri Ramakrishna is telling about him, that Vaishnav Charan's guru, Utsavananda, with him, Pandit Padmalochan, uh, Bichar Kurlan, he had a discussion. He had a discussion with him, Chonge Likhe by through letters. He used to interact and discuss with that great scholar Savananda, who was the guru of Vaishnava Charan. আমায় আবার বললে আপনি একটু শুনুন and said he after he used to discuss with that great scholar Padmalochan used to write letters to him and they used to exchange their views on various scriptural insights. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, he said to me, he told me after his such one of the discussions, আমায় আমার বললে আপনি একটু শুনুন. Let me tell you about it. একটা সময়ে বিচার হয়েছিল. Once there was great discussion, debate. শিব বড় না ব্রহ্ম বড়? Who is the supreme most? Who is superior? Whether Shiva is greater or Brahma is greater? So Padmalochan is now narrating this story to Sri Ramakrishna. But, after his, the discussions with Utsavananda, he said there was one discussion. Once there was a discussion, a debate going on. Who is greater? Shiva is greater or Brahma is greater? শেষে ব্রাহ্মণ পণ্ডিতেরা পদ্মলোচনকে জিজ্ঞাসা করলে. Now, Sri Ramakrishna is telling about the greatness of Padmalochan, not of Utsavananda. With Utsavananda, he had several discussions through writing letters and all that. Now, Padmalochan's greatness, Sri Ramakrishna is telling to all these devotees, Mani Malik and M and Rakhal, that when this discussion was going on, শেষে ব্রাহ্মণ পণ্ডিতেরা পদ্মলোচনকে জিজ্ঞাসা করলে, all other Brahmins, they started, they consulted Padmalochan. And such a huge discussion is going on, such a huge debate is going on. Who is greater? Shiva is greater or Brahma is greater? And so they consulted Padmalochan to get his views on this point of debate. Padmalochan omni সরল. Padmalochan was so guileless, so childless, so simple. What was his answer to these all Pandits who were fighting over who is greater, Shiva or Brahma? He says, সে বললে আমার 14 পুরুষ শিবও দেখে নই ব্রহ্মও দেখে নেই. My 14 generations, people from my 14 generations have neither seen Shiva nor seen Brahma. So how can I answer this question? Who is greater, Shiva or Brahma? So that was the beautiful answer that Padmalochan had given to those Pandits who were fighting over who is greater. So that was the stature of Pandit Padmalochan, great scholar, and still he had such a great respect for this devotee of Ma Kali, this child of Ma Kali. In fact, he shed tears when Thakur sang those songs of Ram Prasad, praising his mother, in the praising the chanting the great deeds of his mother, how great his mother was. So listening to those songs, such a great scholar, he used to shed tears of joy, tears of peace, listening to Ma's glory, listening to Ma's glory. Then Sri Ramakrishna is further explaining that meeting with Padmalochan. কামিনী কাঞ্চন ত্যাগ শুনে আমায় একদিন বললে, ওসব ত্যাগ করছে কেন? And he knew that I tell my devotees, you renounce lust and greed. So he asked me, Pandit Malochan asked me, Oshok Tyag Kuruchekeno, why all that renunciation? Why all that giving up? Hmm? Why you have given up the lust and gold? That you keep on saying that eta taka, eta mati, e bhed buddhi, to agyan theke hue. Pandit Padmalochan knew of Sri Ramakrishna's, sadhana of throwing the soil and money, Ganges, and eta taka, eta mati, and giving up everything. But Pandit was a jnani. His attitude towards this was a bit different. He said, "Why all this? Why saying this is soil, this is mud, this is money, these are coins? A bhed buddhi agyan theke hoye." Differentiating between these, the precious money and simple soil. All this differentiation comes from ignorance, from agyan. Because of ignorance, because of delusion, one gets into this attitude of differentiating the small things, big things, simple soil, the money, great money, which has created havoc in this world. It is all because of ignorance. That was Pandit Malochan's, comment to Sri Ramakrishna. Eta taka, eta mati, e bhed buddhi to অজ্ঞান থেকে হয়। আমি কি বলবো? Sri Ramakrishna says, then to this, what did I say? Bolaam. I said, কে জানে বাপু, আমার টাকা কড়ি ওসব ভালো লাগে না। Then Sri Ramakrishna says, then I told him, oh my revered sir, oh my dear sir, I don't know. কে জানি? I don't know, my dear. আমার টাকা কড়ি ওসব ভালো লাগে না। I just don't relish all these money matters. They are not for me. Because for me they are both same. For me the soil, the money. So I give up everything. And that was Sri Ramakrishna's answer to Sri Ramakrishna. I don't relish money and the like. And therefore I offer everything to my mother. Everything is yours. You just take it back. I don't want anything. So Sri Ramakrishna doesn't have that ignorance. Although Pandit Padmalochan felt that from ordinary perspective, differentiating between a invaluable object and a most valuable object, like ordinary soil and precious money, this differentiation is out of ignorance. And when he pointed out that particular thing to Sri Ramakrishna, his answer was, my dear, I don't know. Ke jane bapu? What do I know? I don't know anything. I just don't like all this money and money matters, money and the like. I just don't like this. I'm beyond that. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's talk with Pandit Padmalochan that he has shared here with his devotees, with his disciples, and also with us in our weekly reading. Incidentally, this week we have had two readings. Sunday also we had a reading from Kathamrita, and today also we had one additional reading. So just Thakur's grace, Ma's grace, that things are happening. And till our next reading, Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.